Hey everyone, the Poetic Travelogue Chapter 5 will commence in a second, but I just wanted to introduce it first when I'm a little bit away from the actual site, so I can give you a full view of where we're headed. This is Kata-Tjuta, and it's a pretty amazing site. It's a gargantuan rocky outcrop that rises up. It's taller than Uluru, and I'm going to be heading into the middle, well, just beyond that actually, the Walpa Gorge, just over there, and just filming a little poem there. So I'll see you after the poem, and you know, I didn't have to wear my fly screen for this one because I'm just chatting, but in the gorge there were lots of flies, so you know, just that's why I'm dressed in my beekeeper outfit again. Alright, see you after the poem. Chapter 5. I have arrived at a site that lies almost exactly beside Uluru. In terms of teaching, this place is an important, crucial, massive tutor. This is the outcrop known as Many Heads, Kata-Tjuta. The connection to the TJUKURPA of this site is so deep it's been a point of supreme duty for the Anangu to keep it secret. And they've succeeded. We know it's got something to do with men's business, but more than that, we can't say. They don't want to reveal more, and we should be happy to obey and keep it that way. Anyway, while we're here, a little history revision. The Anangu land was some of the last to be explored by colonialism, and even when it was, white people couldn't see much use for it at all, except for tourism. But eventually this area was prospected for pastoralism. The farmers moved in with animals that used up and destroyed precious bush food resources, and inevitably put strain on relations with the Anangu and caused conflict. But this is not just a microcosm of what was happening continent-wide. It's also a conflict hinted at since prehistoric times. So last edition I mentioned this word, TJUKURPA, what a potent word it is for the Anangu, difficult to put into an English translation, so many concepts in its core. But one fundamental aspect is the relationship between a person and land, the law. Passed on between them all to understand how to exist, all told in story form, imagine. A story shared between all to encourage a pattern, a pact that ensures the sustainable relationship, action-reaction between land and people and back, and lays down the exact habits to make sure it all happens. Contains the names of all the foodstuffs that are scattered. The last person to have that in the Judeo-Christian mythos would have to be Adam. He was told to name all the creatures he was seeing, told which fruits were suitable for eating, told that if he just obeyed the pretty straightforward law, he could stay forever in freedom. Increasingly, it's starting to seem that the people here have been dwelling millennia in what we consider a harsh desert, in conditions Bear Grylls would blanch just to peek in, but because of their methods, the law that they're keeping, this place, for them, is the Garden of Eden. But in Genesis, when Adam ate the fruit, the story makes no secret of the punishment that resulted. He breaks a simple pact with nature and is condemned to a life of agriculture. Condemned to toil the land in order to grow things instead of managing the land in symbiosis. Later on, another passage that's lain on the table in this Stone Age text reveals more secrets behind the ancient fable. We reach the strange tale of Cain and Abel. Did you get the meaning of this story in Bible study? I wasn't able. It's the tale of the first brothers, who each offered a sacrifice to God for their labors. Cain, fruit and vegetables from his farm and fields, Abel from among the animals that he had hunted and reared. God accepts the meat, but not the crops, making Cain jealous, so that the first brother becomes the first of innumerable insane killers. What does this mean? That God had carnivorous habits? That the Simpsons were right, and even with deities you don't make friends with salad? Perhaps, but actually a more profound meaning exists if you can grab it. And it was at the tent embassy from Uncle Dennis Walker that I first heard it propounded, and it's in the original tale appropriated from Sumerian myths. So let's expand it. It's a trace memory of a seismic shift in human activity on the planet. See, Cain was a farmer, perhaps even organic, but this was a brand new development, a brand new way to manage the land, and in direct conflict with Abel's method, which was to herd and hunt and gather and be nomadic. Now, it's a fact that since the last ice age, all over the globe, a conflict arose, and these new farming people like Cain closed ranks on those like Abel of no fixed abode, took possession of the land which previously no one had owned, outbred them, kept spreading, leaving the soil nutrition cycle broken and closed, and invariably committing violence on the nomads when they innocently roamed through their zone. But even the God of the Bible, a notorious psycho to know, preferred the meat of Abel's labor than whatever vegetables Cain was ever going to grow. And so what did Cain do to his bro? Cain killed Abel out of jealousy for the divinely favored natural nomadic life he could no longer know. This story represents a memory, because from that point in history, steadily, agriculture and land ownership took over and wouldn't let go. However, there was one continent where they didn't get the memo. The British arrived 230 years ago in this Garden of Eden, where people had refused to break nature's straightforward law and were still existing in the vastness of freedom, where they still walked naked, none of this compulsory clothes or fig leaf shit. We were witnessing paradise on earth, but like the best Christians, when we arrived, we just couldn't see it. We declared terra nullius and blundered again onto the stage, into a biblical reenactment of apocalyptic scale, reading direct from the page, where we played the part of Cain, once again killing Abel, the favor that nature placed on these people, sending us into a jealous rage without equal. And after just 2 centuries, much of this land is in tatters, destroyed by a belief that it just doesn't matter. That it's our duty to keep expanding, no matter how much the data is telling that this is a certain path to self-inflicted Armageddon. It's been 230 years, but it's never too late to abandon our brand of Judeo-Christian understanding that has kept us enslaved. And if we're looking for an alternative source, why not seek a connection with the land, a connection with it all, by asking the original owners to teach us TJUKURPA, the law. Declare an end to war before the end can come. Sit humbly before a sacred site in a new alliance incorporating everyone. Learn from a crucial, massive tutor like Kata-Tjuta and enter the center and see what together we can ever become. Because surely, many heads are infinitely better than one. So there we go, everyone, chapter 5 of the Poetic Travelogue. We've just learned a little bit about, well, a tiny bit about Kata-Tjuta and a little bit about the Bible and pastoralism conflicts in prehistory and colonial history. Thanks so much to Dennis Walker at the Tent Embassy for telling that story. It really was a quite amazing insight into the Cain and Abel myth. So, one interesting fact about Kata-Tjuta is when you're filming it commercially, which I kind of am, from a distance, is you must show all kind of 3 or more of the heads. Otherwise, it's like offensive to the sanctity of the site. So that's hence why I wanted to come here and get this shot. Okay, that's it from me. We'll see you on the next thing. I'm going to head towards the East Coast now. And so I just wanted to send this message before I start another round of driving. It's been amazing to come to the Uluru-Kata-Tjuta Park. If you can come here, I seriously recommend it. The images that I've shot can't do it justice. Of course, that's not the reason I'm doing it. I'm doing it for poetic reasons. I'm not a photographer. But you should come here and see for yourself. These sites and all the land that is around them to lead up to them are extraordinary. And the cultural elements of them are even more extraordinary. So, we'll be seeing you on the next chapter. Thanks to my patrons again. And most importantly, a message to the entire planet. Peace.